Bismillah, in the name of the most merciful, in the name of the one creator, the one sustainer, the one worthy of relying, and the one worthy of trusting, and the one alone whom we serve and worship. We send salutations upon the selected one, Muhammad, the son of Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib, and all of his progeny, and all of his supporters, and all of those who aided him in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of Adam and all of those prophets until Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him. We ask and beseech our Creator's forgiveness, and in him alone do we expect to receive that from. We are sufficed with his decree because we have submitted ourselves to he. And how is such creating thus enemies for the children of Adam? It is simply the likelihood of why Iblis, that dude, refused to bow down, submit, to humble himself in front of the Creator, the Sustainer, and the Maker. These events that have been taking place around the world are absolutely unacceptable on all standards of basic human society. For indeed it is not befitting for those who call to the truth and justice, peace, equality, to be responsible at the same time for that in which is completely opposite to peace. How do you fund and refuse to support, aid, and assist in ceasing fire and stopping killing? How do you manage to witness with your own eyes, to hear with your own ears, testimony after testimony of war crimes, genocide, and you say to yourself, I will not support that in which I know to be factual? What happened to the heart? The mind acted, but what happened to the heart? Can you feel the heart? Can you understand the heart that is heartless? The one that Jalla Jalaluhu promised in the Quran. Can you understand that the categories in Al-Fatiha of people, the categories mentioned in Al-Baqarah of people are only 3? Can you appreciate that in which the Creator of all has commanded his servants to oblige by? Can you and I be thankful without being considered a threat to anyone? No. Why? Because we are the inheritors of the information that was given to Jacob, that was given to Isaac, that was given to Abraham and Noah, that was given to Adam, that was given to Joseph. We know the revelations that was given to David, that was given to Moses, that was given to Solomon, that was given to Yeshua, Jesus Christ, Isa, the son of Mary, that in which has been given to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. calling to oneness of God and leaving alone all of these things that increase the bloodshed. Worldly obsessions, the power, political gains, to where the hearts are only looking at what Iblis is. That dude is very deceiving with all of his allies. And they have, they have a bunch of, they actually drink a lot of alcohol. They have an alcohol from the ABCs. Unbelievable. They call it gin, Jinn. That's terrible. So that this is the type of thing, that creates evil, that spikes, and unbelievable. And you increasingly cannot stop the people from indulging in not just the physical killing, but physically, literally, in a spiritual sense, killing themselves. Why? Because the kernel of the matter is peace and justice based on truth. It's based on righteousness. The real issue when we see people taking politics, taking religion, taking nationalism, using these things, only as a means to change the narratives. And it is absolutely incorrect that IDF, put all of this money to try to change narratives, and they shoot all of over 100 journalists, IDF, and then just in the past few days, IDF again killed some of its own hostages. And the hostages been telling them to IDF don't want to get them out alive. Because IDF says that if they come out alive and they telling the real Hamas did not slaughter nobody like, they expected, so they can say they ISIS, then that's going to discredit. So IDF decided that they just going to keep bombing, and we told IDF to stop the bombing. Now, it is a good thing that at least IDF has been able to talk into, because, no, let's give IDF the credit. Because we, Israel, we have to give IDF the credit. IDF, we're happy you've been able to forcefully talk Hamas into the exchange of medical supplies. And for all of those who do not understand, IDF has gone through a lot. The dancers, they still continuing. We saw like a 300-pound girl on there trying to dance with, and it just, again, we're happy that, we have people that large who can move around. The uniform, again, it is tainted, unfortunately, with the color of diarrhea. So that fact, just keeps reappearing. But now we have where IDF is just playing like a defensive battle on the ground, and they're being searched for in order to just attack, and they're just fleeing in front of the Gazan militia members, and the situation is even worse than that. Again, at the International Criminal Court, IDF has to be protected by the government of Israel, because how they've been conducting the war is quite different about how they have been uh, stating that events are going on. So IDF has been claiming that they go through everything possible to protect civilians, yet you have more civilians who have actually fallen under the bombing, and then you have a lot of sniper situations. IDF killed its own hostages. They bombed their own hostages. But there's something very important we want to say here. When it comes to IDF securing victory in the international court regarding whether or not genocide exists. The biggest problem that IDF officials have is reading the public of statements that are already on the record. These statements are followed up by actions. These actions correspond with the statements. These statements were made before the action. Obviously, that's the intent. So this is really difficult, and we want to congratulate the South African, delegation, the brotherly and sisterly and the uncle and aunties, all of them really. We realize South Africa has come a long way, and yes, America needs to come next because of the fact if America is assisting Israel and the Western nations, Britain and the other one, France, none of these, uh, countries stood to even back South Africa's claim of genocide. None of them, absolutely none of them. You had even, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Cameron from the United Kingdom. Mr. Cameron says that a ceasefire should take place, but he doesn't believe genocide, and he didn't even mention that there was a possibility of genocide in the past, seriously. So that's the situation. You have the Israeli, IDF attorney trying to make it seem as if it was all on the basis of October 7th, as what's been happening and working well in the media, that this thing happened October 7th and now it's a payback just like the Nakba in 1948. But we see again that gets you into even more trouble because it's not Hamas who are the defendants or who are actually bringing the charge up against you. It is in Africa. South Africa is an actual nation. And Israel only can say, the best that they can say, is that this nation is affiliated with Hamas. And then the claims are very, very, very serious. You were responsible for their food, for their transportation in and out of there. You were responsible for their water, for their electricity, and you said you were going to cut it off. Clearly, you did cut it off. And you continued with the relentless bombing. Despite all efforts to get you to stop, you claim that this is the only language that is understood. Yes, generally understood. Why? Because you claim that this is force in which your opponent understand the only language that they understand. But everybody who is calling for a ceasefire know that all that needs to be done is that you say and mean. We saw the example of it in the 6 days that took place between the two of you. You cousins, and believe it or not, you should be taking care of this without really, outside anything but United Snakes. Why you all had to go and get involved all the way in the Red Sea, and you all